What's going on? It's Charlie from Xclusive Autoworks. Today I'm going to be wrapping the front end on this X3M. You can see it has a satin paint from factory. Pretty much everything is satin except for the mirrors, which are going to have to be done in a different film. We do have to use the Dyno Matte by Steck for the painted surfaces, just because if I use gloss on here, it will end up looking glossy and it won't match any of the existing paint. First thing that we got to do is just give it a wash. So I'm going to go over the whole car. Even stuff that's not getting wrapped has to get washed just to fully prep it. And then also the wheels. So we'll get on that right now. So right now, just filling up my bucket. Just regular water. So this is the Soap Car Pro Reset. And we just use a little splash. That might have been a little too much, but it's okay. And now I'm just gonna use the pressure washer to give the car an initial, just kind of blow off and get any built up dirt that doesn't need to get scrubbed, like that stuff, just off the car for now, to reduce any risk of scratching. And before I actually start washing the paint, I'm gonna be using the wheel cleaner to clean the wheels. The formula that we use is Aloe Devil Special, and we just put it in a Zep spray bottle like this, which I can then take and spray onto the wheels. And after doing this, I'm gonna let this sit for a few minutes, or maybe a minute or two, not a few. And then I'll take a wheel brush to agitate the dirt that's on there and really scrub down the wheels to make sure that they're fully clean. So now I'm just taking a brush like this and I'm gonna go scrub every little part of this wheel. And then I'll use a different brush for the barrel, which is the inner part. So now I'm gonna use a barrel brush to get the barrels. So this brush is good because it's got a long stick and the head of the brush isn't too big, so you can really get full coverage in there. All right, now that the wheel is fully scrubbed, I can just take the pressure washer and just rinse it off. So while I was doing the wheels, Kyle actually went around and just washed the paint. So it was nothing crazy, just taking a microfiber rag in the bucket to get the soapy water on it and then just wiping the exterior. Right now I'm just finishing up the wheels, so I finished scrubbing them. I'm just blowing them all off just like I did to the one I showed you before. Now we're just gonna be using a little bit of clay just to clay the front end. We're not gonna do the whole car because nothing else is getting wrapped. So we're just using this on everything that's gonna be getting wrapped today. We're gonna dunk it in some of the soapy water that I just used. And we're also using, what is that, Onar, just as a lubricant to make sure this doesn't stick to the paint. Okay, now that I've rinsed off the entire car, I'm just gonna be taking the blow dryer and just drying the car. Okay, so I've gone ahead and moved the car actually from the wash bay onto the lift, and I've also removed the kind of badge or vent that goes over there on the fender and the BMW badge that goes on the hood. So now that that disassembly is done, I can go on to prepping each individual panel. I usually do this as I go, as I work. So I think first I'm gonna be doing the bumper. So I'm gonna be taking alcohol and a microfiber and just rinsing off or wiping down the bumper. After that, I'll lift it up in the air and I can begin installing. Okay, so I have the bumper plotted on here. It's already been weeded. Weeding pretty much just means we're taking the excess material from the plot and just taking this off the backing. So all that's left here is the actual pre-cut. So you can kind of see where it is. It's hard to see on satin, or it's hard to see in satin film because there's no really difference from the finish on the backing paper and the actual film. But yeah, that's on there. All I gotta do now, like I said before, is take alcohol and a microfiber and start prepping this panel. So I'm gonna do that right now. All right, so I got the car in the air. Now I'm just gonna get ready to lay the film. Just a look at the bumper. You can see I still have to trim out the sensors. Those I usually let just kind of sit a little bit and dry out. But yeah, everything is done. Now I'm just gonna move on to the fenders next, and they also have these little arches that I'm gonna have to do, which come out as a separate piece. So I'll do those two next. Okay, so I have the arch piece on. I didn't lay it yet, but it's on. There's a point there that I'm gonna tack first, and then I think I'm gonna work it around the whole arch, and it ends right there. All right, so I just finished squeegeeing. Now I'm just gonna move on to the fender. All right, so I just finished the fender and that flare like I did before. You can see the edges go all the way to the end. You can't even really see the seam at all. This edge was folded in over here to the edge as much as you can get it. Can't even really see the seam. You can just see reflections on it. You can see it a little bit there, but that's pretty much as close as you can get it. It's like 1/8 of an inch. Anything closer will be touching this gasket on the headlight. And when you're driving the car, the headlight naturally vibrates during driving, and that will end up peeling. So that's why we leave it right where it is. Same thing there. And you can see this is where the vent is. With it removed, you can get fully in here. So even with this vent on, I think it even covers this part over here, but full coverage is best. All I gotta do is let this dry a little bit, and then I'm gonna trim all this excess off. All right, so the hood is prepped. I already got slip on it. We have the piece cut out already up there. This is gonna be a bulk, it's not a pre-cut, just because our plotter doesn't support prints this big. But yeah, me and Kyle are just gonna grab that. We'll take it off the cap sheet, lay it on, and we'll stretch it, and then I'll squeegee the whole thing and trim it. Okay, so I just finished the mirrors. This was a pre-cut I actually used. So usually I don't use pre-cuts, but for these competition mirrors, usually the pre-cuts are pretty good, and they also allow for a better install. You do get a seam right here, which you can kind of see. Once it dries out, it'll be more invisible, but yeah, it really does allow you to get more coverage because you have those relief cuts like that. If I were to bulk it, you probably wouldn't have as much coverage in here And there would just be a lot more tension on it, which isn't really good for film in general, for long term. But now we're moving on to the headlights, and after that it should be done. Okay, so the headlights are now done. I just took the heat gun and poked-heated them. Now all we gotta do is just wipe down everything, clean it up, and get it ready to leave. So that's gonna be the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. You can see the wrap is fully done, and this car has been prepped to go. So she's ready to leave. So again, I hope you enjoyed. If you did like the video, please leave a like, and I'll catch you in the next video.